Two Brooklyn plumbers, Mario and Luigi, must travel to another dimension to rescue a princess from the evil dictator King Koopa and stop him from taking over the world. Super Mario Bros. Is a 1993 American science fiction, comedy, fantasy, adventure film. It is directed by Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel. The film stars Bob Hoskins as Mario, John Leguizamo as Luigi, Dennis Hopper as King Koopa, and Samantha Mathis as Princess Daisy. The film was shot in New York City and North Carolina on a budget of $48 million. The film opened on May 28, 1993 and grossed $20.9 million, and it is considered a financial flop. A Super Mario Bros. Film was suggested by Roland Joffe during a script meeting at his production company Leitmotiv. He presented the initial draft of the film to Hiroshi Yamaguchi, the president of Nintendo America's son-in-law, and a month after their meeting, he was in the office of Yamaguchi pitching the storyline. This led to interest in the project and eventually gave Joffe a $2 million contract and temporary control over the character Mario. 4 drafts of the film were made, the first written by Jim Genuine and Tom S. Parker, and it was a comedic take on the fairy tale themes. It focused on Mario and Luigi attempting to rescue a princess named Hildy from Koopa. Joffe visited Harold Ramis and offered him the directing position. Ramis is a film director and actor known for Groundhog Day and Ghostbusters. He is a fan of the Super Mario Bros. But declined the offer. Joffe approached Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel and offered the couple to direct based on their work on the TV series Max Headroom. Once the rights were secure, Leitmotiv went out to cast the characters. Danny DeVito was asked to play Mario and direct the film, but declined after reading the script. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Michael Keaton were approached to play Koopa, but declined as well. Tom Hanks agreed to play Mario in the film, but the film executives believed that Hanks was worth more than they could afford and dismissed him. He was replaced by Bob Hoskins, who they thought was a more profitable actor. Imagine seeing Tom Hanks as the Mario. The film has a legacy, if you will. The production has been called a disaster. Bob Hoskins told The Guardian in 2007 that it was the worst thing he ever did, and that the whole experience was a nightmare. Another interview with The Guardian, he was asked the worst job he has done, his biggest disappointment, and if he could edit his past, what would he change? All 3 answers were Super Mario Bros. Leguizamo stated in 2007 that he disliked his role as Luigi and expressed dissatisfaction with the film's direction. He thinks that the reason the film turned out the way it did was because the studio wanted a family film while the directors wanted an adult film. He said that the production was so bad that he and Hoskins were frequently drinking on set, knowing that it would be bad. But recently, Leguizamo has lightened up a bit on the film and doesn't think it is as bad as he has said in his biography. He was quoted though saying that the only good thing about the film is that he and Samantha Mathis met and began dating off-set. Dennis Hopper's account of the film production are the same as the other 2. He said it was a nightmare, that movie. It was a husband and wife directing team who were both control freaks and wouldn't discuss decisions before they were made. I was supposed to be filming for 5 weeks, but ended up staying for 17. It was so over budget. The man himself, creator of Mario, Shigeru Miyamoto, stated, "In the end, it was a very fun project that they put a lot of effort into." But also said, "The one thing that I still have some regrets about is that that movie may have tried to get a little too close to what the Mario Bros. Video games were. And in that sense, it became a movie that was about a video game, rather than being an entertaining movie in and of itself." Nintendo has not produced any more live-action theatrical films based on their video games since. Metroid was in development, but after the flop of Mario Bros., it was cancelled. Finally, co-director Rocky Morton said that he and Annabelle Jankel, along with the entire cast, agreed to make the movie on the original script, which focused on the brothers' complicated but loving family relationship that developed without parents. However, weeks before the film's principal photography began, the studio demanded rewrites to make it more childlike. This resulted in the final script not being anything like the original, and the tone did not fit the sets, which were already built. He also said Hopper was difficult to work with, which was common knowledge at the time. You can see what he is talking about when you watch the film. Even though the experience was horrific and his career was put on halt, he says that he is proud of his work on the movie, and for that, I give him respect. If anyone is like myself and wanted to see a sequel to this film, because being 6 at the time when this movie came out, I loved it, we got one in 2013. No, not a movie, but the film's original writers created a webcomic sequel and published it to the internet. The comic sees Mario and Luigi return to Dino Hatton with Daisy to tend to her revived father, only to find out that Wart is planning to overthrow the city. What can we as filmmakers learn from Super Mario Bros? This movie did its job in creating a believable, yet weird world. Dino Hatton looks amazing. Actually, most of the sets are great. This movie came out right before we started making movies with just green screens. And you can tell that a lot of work went into it. For your next film, try, if your budget allows, to create your fantasy world with practical sets and objects. This will greatly improve believability to your audience that your world actually exists. And when they are built, they actually do exist. These sets, instead of just looking great, actually serve another purpose. It will help your actors create better performances by immersing them in this world. Many actors have said, well, I just trusted the director with my performance because I was just in front of the green screen for the whole thing. So I didn't know how well it would turn out. This is proof that having real sets and props will give better performances. And I'm not just talking out of my ass. Another thing we can learn, well, it's kind of like the first, is how important it is to use animatronics in your film. Just look at Yoshi. He is amazing. He is so real. I had, and still do, have no problem believing that this is what our friendly dinosaur from Super Mario World would look like. He is perfect. His movements, his facial expressions, everything is top notch. Nowadays, instead of doing Yoshi with practicals, we would have computers render him out, and he will look off. I mean, they can do some great things with computers. Look at Life of Pi. That tiger looks like a tiger, I will admit. But still, every time something is done with practicals, it always comes out more believable in my opinion. For your next project, try to create your creature the old-fashioned way, and your audience and your actors will appreciate it much more. On to my opinion, Super Mario Bros. Definitely is nostalgic to me. I grew up loving the plumber and his adventures in video games, and when the movie came out, I was so excited. I even remember enjoying the film. But the problem with our memory is it lies to us. This movie's not very good. I researched all the negatives and behind the scenes and tried to give it a more positive rating because of the problems, but that still doesn't excuse anything. This movie is just not very good. Aside from the great sets, practical effects, and the animatronics, this movie doesn't do its job in making itself a film. I would rate Super Mario Bros. As a 35 out of 100. If you want to see some cool sets and effects, it is worth watching, maybe. Or if you're a fan of Mario and want to see a live-action adventure, this is all we got. Alright everyone, that is it for this review. What do you think of it? Do you enjoy Super Mario Bros? Let me know in the comments below and subscribe to Film Fixins for more reviews like this. Later everyone.